Yo, what's up? It's Z3 here. And y'all are doing amazing. Keep going, keep living your life, keep having faith in God, keep having faith in yourself, and keep attracting your dreams. Today's video is about, I haven't did a video in a while. Today's video is about the difference between a new mindset in the same environment versus a new environment with the same mindset. So the new mindset with the same environment is you're still around everything else that was pulling you back. You're still around everything else that you were partaking in before. You just have a new mindset about these things, which may mean you're susceptible to fall and you're susceptible to backtrack into them same old ways because you're not out of that environment, which I believe there really is no difference between going into a new environment and you keeping your same mindset, because you're going to go into that new environment not only when you're lighting up, you're attracting darkness and everything else, but with you just going into that new environment with the same mindset you had when you were at that old environment, which is going to turn that new environment and it's going to make it feel just the same, because you're still partaking and doing the same things that you would be doing in the old environment, instead of going to a new environment, learning new places, doing new things, and doing everything else new. You're choosing in a way to bring that old environment with you in the same way of the old environment, and choosing to go with the new mindset. You have a new mindset. You've graduated upon this way of thinking and these actions. So your way of thinking ultimately understands the actions and everything that's taking place in that old environment, yet you choose to do the same things that you have graduated from in your mind, which we're all human. But if you've had to choose one, which would you choose? Me personally, I would choose the new mindset in the same environment, because when you choose and you have new ideas and you're doing different things, that environment is no longer the same to you. Yes, you'll still see the old ways and the old and what you did, but when you're on it, when you have a new mindset, a new wavelength, you're floating into different vibrations and different frequencies. You're floating into new things that you never thought were in your environment, which makes your old environment, that same old environment, new to you because of the new mindsets y'all have. While if you go to a new environment, yes, it's a new place. It's a new aesthetically for you. I gotta sneeze. Yes, it's a new environment and it's a new scenery and there's new foods and new everything, but you have the same way of thinking. You can't experience what's new if you're stuck on doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. So that's why me personally, I'll choose the new mindset with the same old environment, because at least with the new mindset, you create new opportunities and you see new things that you never would have seen before if you kept your old way of thinking in that environment. And then you can take that new way of thinking into a new environment, and now you're doing all new things. Everything down to the list is new, from the internal to external. You don't think like this. You are out of the lacking mentality and you're into an abundant, while also having an abundant of new things to experience. When, say, you do move for an opportunity and you're still in that lacking scarcity mentality while in a new environment, well, you're not going to really see as much opportunity. You're not going to see the same things. You're just going to see trife and other neglectful things because of your same old mindset, the same neglectful mindset. So if you were over in the same old environment and you are thinking out of a lack mentality, a scared mentality, fear binding mentality, and you go to a new environment, or you're just going to bring that fear binding, scarce, non-abundant mentality with you in that new environment, and that place, in that new place, you're now experiencing the same things that you experience, that you were choosing to experience in your old reality. When you take that new mentality with you into that new environment, not only did you learn new things about whatever environment you were in and you gained a whole new understanding, but now you could take that new understanding into a new place and adapt it in that new environment. So, me personally, I'd rather take the new mentality, the new mindset with the same old environment than to be in a whole new environment doing the same things, because you're not evolving. You're just doing the same thing you were doing and retroly thinking the same place, because it's just a new environment. All this is a different look of houses, a different look, and you won't be able to see them new things. Yes, there's going to be noticeable differences, but within the opportunity, the vibration, and the frequency of it, you're still stuck on that same old wavelength. So you're still going to deal with the same old struggles and the same old things you dealt with before, versus you having a new mindset, a new frequency, and you learning that new radio station inside your old town. It completely changes the environment itself, because you're looking at things from a different perspective. When you're moving to an environment and you're seeing things from the same perspective that you were just there in a whole different place. So the best thing for you to do is, when growing in life and experiencing the things you experience, upgrade your knowledge, upgrade your awareness and your understanding. Because if you develop a new mindset in that same old environment, then when you move to a new environment, you will be able to, not only before the moving, you'll be able to see new things in that old environment, which will make some of it new to you, because you're in a whole new mindset. You're thinking at things differently, which you have a new outlook on things. So then once you move into that new environment, you have a better understanding of the old one, and you also have a better understanding of the new one, because you gained insight. Because you developed a new mindset and started looking at things differently, which sometimes will trigger you to move to that new environment, and you'll be able to experience and live the life based on what's going on in your mind. Because you could live here, do drugs, alcohol, do whatever you may do, think that there's not opportunities here, then move to a new environment, and because you still have the mentality of the drugs, the overconsumption, you're still taking, it's like you never left the old environment, because you're doing the same things you would be doing in your new environment. You're keeping the same mindset and same mentality, so there's no evolution, there's no wavelengths crossing for you to grow. So that is why it is better to have a new mentality in the same old environment than to be in a new environment with the same mentality, because you're going to get to that new environment, and then you start doing the same old things, back to drinking, back to being lustful, back to doing whatever you may do, and just in a new environment. So it's becoming the same old what you're doing, and you're like, wow, I wanted to move to a new environment, and I thought it would be different. Well, you're not doing anything different to make that different. Rather than being in this environment and being like, this ain't me no more. I don't get along with this. This ain't the version this ain't the life that I want to be living. This is how I think of things now, and this isn't working. So you move, and that is what's going to trigger the new mentality, is what's going to trigger that move, because you're going to be like, wow, okay, this isn't for me. This isn't working for me. Boom. You go over here and you're like, wow, okay, this is new. Okay, cool. I like this. This actually applies to the mindset and everything that I have. This talks about the things. There's rhythm in that rhyme. There's rhythm in your mindset. So your mindset is what's going to lead you to that place to begin with. Because like I said, you can't even see that there's new opportunities and different opportunities if you're not already in a new and evolved mindset. You're going to move with the same old mindset and still be stuck in that version of you that's still living out of fear, living, not over consuming. You're still stuck sulking on things, and you brought the same old and mentality with you to the new environment, which made that new environment the same old, which you felt, which you wanted to get away from. But because you cannot run from yourself and things that are eternal, it was inevitable. So instead of trying to uproot your life, first go through the internal changes, and then based on the internal changes and the internal assumptions that you come up with, your external is what's going to, projection is reflection. Reflection is projection. So once you start reflecting on your internal, and then you make a few changes, or you have a few realizations, then once you go into that new environment, everything's going to be like voila to you. But because you're stuck in the same old mindset, that voila effect, that wow effect will not happen, because you're still focused on the same old things that you would focus on back home or wherever you may be at. Or if that's not your hometown, maybe you just moved. Well, this place is going to feel like this place because you're still stuck. It was never the place. Yes, an environment adds, but it was never more than you. The environment was never more than you and the choices that you were making and the things that you were believing on the inside of you. So take that new mentality into that new environment, and then you'll be on the wavelength of experiencing new things and, abundant and having abundant mindset. So say you want more opportunities. Well, believe in that you attract more opportunities, and believe in that. Tell yourself that and hold on. Believe as much as you're in your ability to drive and put that same belief into your life. Take that in that environment that you're already in. There's going to be things, and everybody has their journey. Everybody has their time to be and when their journey will happen, and when that wake-up initiation will start, whether they choose to or not. So when you choose that, all this scared lack mentality, or it doesn't even have to be that you got what you got out of this situation and it is no longer. Adopt a new mentality. Just how when you beat a boss, you get to a new level and you can't play that level the same no more. But because you fought that boss battle, it taught you more things and it gave you more abilities. So the things that you went through in this environment and the things that you went through here is what is teaching you and adding up for you to make that transition into that next level. And you're not supposed to play how you were playing in that other level, because you are no longer there. And if you fight a level 50 boss like you're fighting a level 15 boss, and you're using the same moves that you would use on a level 50 boss, you're going to lose. That's not how you were supposed to play that level. You put 10% in this level. No, this needs all of you. So you cannot hold on to the past while trying to open the door to the new. You're over here trying to carry in all these old set beliefs while the universe is walking the other way, and like, you're holding too much. I can't hug you and hold on to you. You're holding on to way too much. How am I supposed to pick you up, pick all that up, and you want me to take you all the way through here without you dropping things along the way? See, that's the thing about having the same old mindset in the new environment. You're just going to do what you just did there, here. Literally, you're just going to do what you did here, there. So you're over here, say you were just smoking, because it's on my mind. You found weed smokers here, right? You don't want to, and instead of meditation or yoga, right, you move to that new environment, and instead of finding new ways to calm yourself down or thing, you get back into the same old. Instead of going to, here, say in this environment, you chose to find your girl or your man at the club. And because you chose to choose them and find them in a toxic environment, things ended up toxically because that's where you found them at. Like I said, each level is not the same. Each place is different than the other. So you found them while at the same time they're much the same. So boom, then you move to this new environment, and instead of looking for your man in a bookstore, church, or any other place that a church, or just outside in life while working out and things of that nature, you decide to go to that place and get a man out of that club or a woman out of that club, and you're wondering why it's the same thing. You're getting the same experience and you moved because you're choosing the same experience in a different environment. So with the end of this video, just know, for me personally, before you move, make a move within your mind. Develop new mentality, new ideas, and start where you're at. Instead of choosing to go to the new environment, doing the same things, realizing that this ain't it, and recycling and turning that new environment into an old, or going to a new environment with the same old mentality, doing the same old things and not getting nothing new out of that experience. And having to go through the things that you went through a little bit more for you to be like, all right, in this new environment, boom. Instead of changing your mind and having a mental calibration happen within and taking that new mentality into that new environment and evolving, and everything will work out. So me, personally, I feel like a new mentality in an old environment is better than a new environment with the same mentality. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's day, and I love y'all.